Hi, I'm Angela Ryder. Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to share a practice with you that I adapted from my former medical science career working in quality systems. We had this system when something went awry called the 5 whys of root cause analysis. It wasn't about blame, it was understanding all the layers that if we looked at it superficially, we could just say, oh, that person did something wrong. But if we keep going further and further down, we can see the systems that may have broken down. And so it's not about blame, it's about understanding the problem so that we can take steps to fix it. So, how I apply that is whenever I'm feeling stuck or unsure if something is intuition calling to me or if it's something that I'm feeling like I should do something, but it doesn't quite feel right, I use kind of like that 5 why system. Like, why do I feel stuck? Why do I believe I can't choose differently? Why does this option not feel safe to me? Why does this pattern keep repeating? So it's usually when I go through the process, it becomes really clear what's intuition, which feels like I'm in alignment with it, but I might be a little afraid. But I feel like excited, I feel curious, I feel like it's something that is a deeper knowing. Whereas when I start to go through the root cause for something that I feel like I should be doing, it's from conditioning. We get down to the system of, is this some kind of patriarchal bullshit or misogyny or capitalism or religious or family conditioning? When we get down to that part, that's when we can really see, like, oh, dang, I've been trying to get myself to make a choice because it's what other people are expecting of me or what I have come to believe I should be doing. But really, what you want to ask your question is, all right, now that I know that this is a conditioning choice, that I feel like I should do it because I see everybody else expecting me to, well, then we can say, well, what rule am I trying to follow and who does it serve? And what will I afraid am I afraid will happen if I do or don't do this? And look at whose definition of safety or success am I using to make my choices. This will help be able to look at it. It's like, okay, if I'm aware of this now, then how do I start honing those shoulds into a more conscious way to make choices? So we've done maybe more than the 5 whys of getting down to why I keep looping around into a behavior. Then we can look behind when things are run by conditioning. They sound like I should do this. This is what's expected. This will keep me safe. I can't risk that happening. What will people think? And then you can start asking questions like, what rule am I trying to follow? All of those. And then if you have discovered that it's a conditioning, and then you can just say, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. It's not for me. I, I don't need to make those choices. But sometimes getting out of them is a different set of choices. So what you'd want to do is go into the intuitive step. It's like, if I had no fear, what would I do instead? If I could do what my heart is really asking me to do, what would that look like? If I don't have all the answers now, but if I took this one step, I feel like it would align me in a position that would allow me a different perspective, more in line with what my path actually feels like. So the recalibration from this is kind of looking at where are you looping, where does the topics keep coming up, where do you feel shame or like you should be doing something, or you feel judging yourself or by others' standards. And then you can say, chances are the why of this is my conditioning. And when I understand that it's the conditioning, I'm aware of it and I can make different choices. I can choose from a place of timing, honoring your own timing. It's like, okay, maybe what came up is I'm really aligned with this choice, but I'm not ready to take it yet. And you could say, why? Why am I not ready? You could say, oh, well, I need to do these other things first, not as a reason or excuse, but if your calling is to open up some sort of business or be an entrepreneur, and the action would be for you to investigate how you could do that, then and then you're not ready, then you could make your choices of like, what's the one step I can take that would align me with that path? And that brings you a little bit closer to the exploration of it. That's kind of like the two drivers of a question, is like getting down to the root cause analysis. Where are you stuck? What's feeling resistant or activated right now? What decision, pattern, or situation are you circling over and over? And then you ask, well, what belief or expectation or fear or rule am I operating from by looping with this? Is overthinking a self-care pattern that you've learned because you haven't been safe in the past following other people's expectations, even though you were conditioned to think that that would keep you safe? And then you have to also deal with the fears that come along with that conditioning of what happens if you choose your intuition or you choose from your own self-authority, and asking yourself those questions. When I do that identification, it's like, okay, that's conditioning bullshit again. Then I go, it's like, okay, is there some aligned small step that I can take that feels intuitively and self-authorized? Those are things that from intuition don't have a sense of urgency. They have a sense of direction, exploration, and curiosity that you can follow. So this awareness creates choice, and having the choice to understand what is your conditioning and choose differently, that restores your agency. And you're not here to perfectly follow any system, whether it's my sharing or anybody else's. You're here to develop a way of discerning between what your conditioning is and what your intuition is, and why sometimes you get really stuck and unable to move forward. And that's because it's like a cog that is misaligned and trying to turn you or steer you towards serving old systems and beliefs instead of turning towards and aligning yourself with your own soul path. I'll leave a set of inquiry steps and questions in the comment section so that you can use that as a quick reference. And I hope that this has been a little bit helpful on how you can use a scientific approach of inquiry to analyze why you're stuck, and then make choices that come from that awareness. Thank you for being here. Take care.